Hey guys, it's your boy Georgie from Lost Nation, and I'm here today to give you guys a Lair Darkness deck profile. This deck is more for people who want to play Control, or if you want to go back to 2018 format playing a bad deck, here you go. So starting off the lineup, we go 3 Lilith. You have to play this card. Basically it's a trap trick from deck. You tribute any dark monster, quick effect, and you get to reveal 3 traps, and then you set 1. So typically you can reveal the 3 same traps, and then you set 1, and then you get the one you want. You can normal summon this, and if you say you're playing Torrential Tributes or Ice Dragon's Imprisonment, you can play it. It's just a free way to get a trap card. It's particularly good when you have Lair. And then you play of the other sister, you play 2 Malice. Malice is a 2 tribute, add 1 back. It's a little bit steeper for the tribute, so you won't play 2 of it, but it's really good for the grind games, and it lets you recycle the traps you get off trap tricks. The ways you mainly get into your Lair Darkness, you play 3 Arima, the Wicked Warden. The card's good, you discard it to search your field spell, and since Called Grave is at 1, it's a little bit easier to get away with. It also lets you tribute 1 monster, either you or your opponents, and lets you either draw a card or search a dark monster with 200 more defense points. So if you're playing Radiant, you can search Radiant, which is really good kaiju. Typically you use this to tribute another token, then search Diabolos. Because since you have the Diabolos in hand, because the dark monster was attributed on your field, you can summon it right afterwards. The effect to search is only good if you tribute another monster. You can tribute Arima itself, but it only gives you a draw 1. And then here is the best field spell in the deck. You got triple Layers of Darknesses. So this card is your what's called Mutant Gravy. If you don't open this card, don't have a way to get it, the deck really negs. Lair lets you gain advantage out of your opponent, and the way this deck builds is it tries to snowball. So you want to have as many resources as possible and slowly accumulate them. That's how Lair lets you do. Lair lets you use your opponent's monsters as tributes. Also makes all monsters in the field dark. So for any reason you're still playing against a Salamangreat player, they can't go into Sunwolf because Sunwolf needs Fire Monster. So that's for Lair. Now the ways to get into Lair, you have your 3 Arima, and you also play the 1 Metaverse and 1 Terraforming. And because we were playing a Control deck in 2021, we need to play the Mystic Mine to make any opponent really respect the Metaverse. This card really just makes you win games and chooses victories out, so it's really good. Plus you're playing the Metaverse, so you might as well do it. You can up the Mystic Mine, I don't like to think as a win con. For starters, we play 3 Tour Guide of the Underworld. Lilith and Malice are level 3s, so you can spec them out. Plus Lilith, even though her effects are negated, she can still tribute. So say you have Tour Guide summons Lilith, and you have Lair Darkness in the field, Lilith can still tribute your cards or your opponent's cards because the tribute is for cost. And that's a big thing that people understand. Even if it's negated or whatever, even if they Emperor, Veil, or whatever, you still get to tribute your opponent's card, and the tributing gets a rate of protection effects. So you can tribute Aphromax, you can tribute whatever. You just gotta make sure they're dark and they're affected by card effects. Typically this card gets Ash, so don't have high hopes. For the boss monsters, we pick 2 Diabolos. Diabolos is really good. A lot of decks don't just have a way to get over it because it can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects, and it can't be tributed by your opponent. So if they try to go Nibiru, you keep the Diabolos. If they try to go Kaiju, you say no, you're cheating. Diabolos can be targeted, can be tributed. He recurs himself, so say if you have you tribute a dark monster from your hand. Sorry, if you tribute a dark monster from your field or your graveyard, if you tribute a dark monster from your field and say you have Diabolos in your graveyard or your hand, he can spec himself for free, so he's a really easy way to get resources. He also has a good effect where he rips a card out of your hand, so you just tribute 1 dark monster, then your opponent has to shuffle back 1 card. Or shuffle back, they have to put 1 card to the top or the bottom of their deck. So this card really lets you, when you start getting in your place, you let this card take away the draw of your opponent, and you really start to outpace them. So it's a really good boss monster to end on. We played the Foolish just to make your Diabolos a 3 of without actually playing 3. Plus it's just a really good flex spot. I like Foolish just because you really can't go wrong with it. A lot of people played the Lure variant, the Pot of Extravagance variant, but personally, I like playing Lures. And then I also play the Danger package. So the reason why I do this instead of the Pot of Extravagance is the issue is that Pot of Extravagance not only does it banish your extra deck, which you really don't care about regardless, but the issue is I'd rather be able to see 6 draw cards, even though they're +0, +1, versus a Pot of Extravagance that can get ashed or negated, whatever. No one's gonna negate an Lair, and no one's gonna negate a danger effect. So you're more likely to see your draws if you play the Lairs and the danger than you are to play the Pot of Extravagance. Plus, this way you have a way to get into Dragoon, which we'll see later. For traps lineup, you really just want to play the better traps. I'm too broke, so I don't have secrets, torrential tributes or Ice Dragon's Persimmons, but really good budget options too is I play the 3 Compulse. It's really good when you want to play against virtual wards. You don't want them to have a name on field, so you just use the Compulse to bounce it back. It's a way to get rid around it really gets rid over your the Dry Tones cards. Like Vanity's Fiend, Vanity's MTS, you just bounce it back and you say, alright, special summon, whatever. So it's really just good trap card all around. You play 3 Back to the Front. This card is really lets you recover. So oftentimes you have to tribute Lilith herself because you don't have the field spell. Back to the Front lets you recur Lilith, which is really well. So say you have Lair Darkness and a Lilith, you just activate Lilith's effect, tribute, reveal 3, set this, and then you get a token and a Lair. And you start to outpace your opponent. Something also to note that Lilith is 2,000 attack points, but when she's normal summoner, she's 1,000. So when you use Back to the Front, she goes back to 2k. So she's a 2k level 3 fiend. Because the format asks so, we have a lot of back row cards now. Heavy Storm Duster just lets you get a free pop 2. It's searchable off of Lilith, and you typically don't use your battle phase. You just really wait till you outpace your opponent and grind them to nothing. So Heavy Storm Duster is really just 2 for 1, and you really can't complain about that. I only play 1 trap trick. Some of you guys are gonna yell at me for not playing 3. I don't want to banish a lot of my traps and then get punished for it, so I play a lot of 2 traps, and the trap trick just ends up being the 3rd one. So say I need without losing a lot of my traps, I play trap trick so I can see more of my traps without banishing most of them. And because trap trick has the heavy restriction of not letting you activate other traps in a turn, playing 1 I think is the perfect number. For spells, we play 2 Super Polys. It makes all monsters in the field dark, and it's a perfect Starving Venom target. And if you're extra greedy, you can do the Tripto Vertum, the one that takes 3, and it becomes a solid in Judgment. I only play 2 because, as I said before, the format typically ends on like 1 monster. If you look at Zodiac Avalanche, they end up just 1 Zodiac. A lot of people don't end up more than 1 monster, and if they do, go props to them. But Super Polymerization at 3, you see it too much, and it's really heavy toll to discard the 1 card. And with a game, when you're trying to build up resources in Lair, you really typically don't want to discard. So playing 2 Super Poly I think is the perfect number. You see just enough to break boards, but not enough when you don't need to. And because Anaconda is good, we play the Beat Up Red Eyes, Dark Magician Red Eyes Fusion. You can't go wrong with it. Another reason why I play the Danger package, because the Dangers allow you to just put 2 monsters on field, and if you have Tour Guide plus Danger equals Lilith plus Dragoon. And typically if you have a Lilith, Dragoon, and then Lair, your opponent's not beating that. Can't go wrong with that. And then we play the one of Monster Reborn. Can't say no to a free extender. And then for the extra deck, all Super Poly targets. So just this lineup right here. So we have the World Chalice Guard Armaduke. Just if you have an opponent that has 3 links on the field, you can really punish them. Not a lot of people do much link climbing, but if they do, you can really punish them for it. The main ones you're going to be going into is the Predator Dragus Stapella, which is a Dark plus a Fusion. Then you have the Predator Tripto Vertum, which takes 2 monsters and is also a Sullen Judgment on wheels. This is also negate, so don't forget it. You can target 1 card in the field, make it level 1, I think, level 1 to level 2, and make it's essentially a negate. Then you have the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Don't forget its effects. People always forget about it. In this card summon, you get to target one card that will special summon. This guy gets really big. And if your opponent's not paying attention and tries to attack into this card, if it's destroyed, I think by battle, I know for sure if it's destroyed by battle, it nukes all the special summon monsters in your opponent's field. So if they're not paying attention, they could really get punished because of that. We play other, what's it called, super poly targets. That's basically what this deck is. We play Mud Dragon because it's just a really good super poly target all around in case exactly not levels matchup or types matchup. Diplo Chimera attacks is good because it's good against Salmagrate, Cybers, and people, you can trigger off Diplexer Chimera's effect because it tributes. So say you have Lair, you can activate this card effect to tribute. It's also a quick effect too, so people don't pay attention. I think it's your opponent can't activate card effects during the battle phase, so it's just a little niche thing. First of the Dragons, Linkross is not that popular this format, but people still playing Auroradon. So if they try to go on Auroradon, you use First of the Dragons. It's really hard to get on with this card because the card isn't affected by other monster effects. So typically you can make this card and your opponent's not gonna get over it. So, and it can't be destroyed by battle, so you just wait on a defense position until you know you have an out. And this card because we play against Outledge. And then gotta play the 1-off Dragoon. Card says pop 2, negate, can't be targeted, really can't say no to this. For links, we don't play a heavy link package. We play the 1 Link Spider, 1 Anaconda, 2 B-Cop, and the Phoenix. So these are really just flex house. I would highly suggest playing the Spider. Well, actually all these. Spider's is good because you just link off the token and link climb. Phoenix is good because you can most times you can co-link the Spider with Phoenix using a tour guide or extra tokens and you get to draw 1. B-Cop is good because if you use 2 dark monsters, it also tributes. So say if you don't have any good cards, say you have a tour guide that gets ashed and then you have a danger in hand. If you don't want to go into Anaconda, you can go into B-Cop. B-Cop will tribute, say you have Lair, B-Cop can tribute an opponent's card. It's not a quick effect, but it can place a patrol counter. And this patrol counter you typically place under your Lair, whatever, and it prevents it from being destroyed by battle or by card effects instead. So you try to pop my Lair, if I have patrol counter on it, I get to remove the patrol counter instead. So it's good, it adds protection, but she's cute. And then for the boss monster, honestly, I have this card in, but I'm thinking about switching it out. I play the Boarload. Boarload's just really really can't get over. You can't beat it. Snatch and Steal can't be targeted by your opponent's, or it's unaffected by your opponent's card effects. Monster effects, sorry. It gets over anything. I'm probably gonna change it to the Unchained Abomination because Unchained Abomination is that it only takes 2 more monsters versus this takes 3. Unchained Abomination also pops out cards, so it's easier to make, and this is for the thing that we want with Lair. We want to outpace our opponent, and Unchained Abomination really makes your opponent negs, and especially against Outledge when they keep setting their traps, you don't really care if they keep setting their traps, you just keep popping them. They can only grind for so long if you just really make them neg the resources. So I'll probably switch this with Unchained Abomination. Well guys, that's it for my Lair Darkness deck profile. We're playing this in 2020, let me know how it feels. It's a little bit rough, but it's one of my first decks getting into back in the game, and it's really close to my heart. Alright, take it easy boys.